Did you say that Jake Wallman was getting rid of salary?
Yes.
Is that the assumption? All right, so
because I also think Jake Wallman's pretty mid. Like he would have been your third pair defenseman when you're ready to win a Stanley Cup, and that $3.4 million is way too much money to pay someone who's their third line defenseman.
Here's the thing, though, and I'm gonna ruffle a lot of feathers, but you know what? Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn?
Like
to me, needing to shed Jake Wallman's salary, which I agree with you on your premise, even though last year when they obviously weren't ready to win, he was at times your first pairing at a defenseman. Needing to shed Jake Wallman's salary in conjunction with a second-round pick, that to me highlights some of the failings of Steve Yzerman and his acquisitions. Because whenever I bring up anything about them not making the playoffs be a failure or that they collapsed to end the season, and I bring up some of the moves that immediately, like the Petrie and Hull, you'll get the response of like, oh, so you need him to hit 100%. Steve Yzerman, the reality is he hasn't even hit close to 100%. He's made some good moves and they've gotten incrementally better, but in the past couple of years, you brought in Oli Mata via free agent who makes $3 million a year. You acquired Ville Husso via trade who makes $4.75 million a year. And in his year as a starter, he had an .896 save percentage, which was 38th in the NHL, by the way. You brought in Andrew Kopp as a free agent who's your third highest. He's your third highest cap hit going into this year, but was your 10th highest scorer last year. And then in last season's free agency, the disaster that was Justin Hull, $3.4 million, who didn't even play, and Jeff Petrie, who was worse than mid, makes 2.3. That's my thing, is that a lot of those moves had a direct correlation into why the Red Wings didn't make the playoffs last year, and it made it so that you had to dump a salary in Jake Wallman, even though I think Jake Wallman would have been a valuable member maybe on the third line to this team.
That's true, but the other two names that you mentioned aren't going to be moved. They're pretty much unmovable at this point. They also, I believe, are one-year deals going into this season, so they're expiring. So, and Wallman had 2 years left on his term. This is around the exact term that they're going to sign Kane for, and everyone's like, oh, Kane's going to get $5 million. Kane's not getting $5 million. His hip's fucked up. He is 35 or 36 years old. He does not play defense anymore. And Joe Pavelski got a 1 year, $3.5 million with $2.5 million worth of incentives from the Stars this year. And that's a true two-way forward who still put up 67 points and played in 82 games. Kane did not play in 82 games and had the same amount of points.
No, and let me just say this. And yeah, Kane, he was very, very good last year. He was what I would call one of Steve Yzerman's, in terms of what he did last year in a half a season, kind of one of his special signings.